I also would like to say thank you for invitation to this conference for Ewa Cybulska-Bohuszewicz. Elżbieta Puzynina, nie Ogińska, wife of the Castellan of Mścisław, is considered one of the first female patrons of the exact sciences in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. None of the women from prominent magnate or noble families in the Grand Duchy of Lithuania in the 18th century contributed as significantly to the development of the exact sciences as Puzynina did. Elżbieta Puzynina became renowned as the founder of the Astronomical Observatory in Vilnius, of Vilnius Academy, for which she repeatedly provided funds for its construction and acquisition of astronomical instruments. Among her contemporaries and posterity, she was also known as the founder of a Jesuit mission in House of Lučaj in the Ośmiana district, present-day Vitebsk region, Belarus. Sorry. Puzynina and her husband Antoni Puzyna were the owners of estates in Lučaj. In 166 she donated to the Jesuits a part of her estate in corpse and movable assets, as well as 2 plots of land for the construction of the church of St. Tadeusz the Apostle. A testament to Puzynina patronage in Lučaj is the panegyric written by Józef Augustyn Pawlowski, Dziedzictwo wiekujących honoru, I can translate it into English, composed as a token of gratitude for her provision of funds for the establishment of the infant suffragancy. The work is characterized by Baroque features, which numerous references to ancient mythology and classical literature, and it's composed of 4 parts. The first part consists of a short poem dedicated to the Puzynina family coat of arms, Brahma. The second part recounts the numerous merits of the family members. The third part is devoted to the virtues of the works, addressed herself. In the text, the author refers to the Brahma, the Ogiński coat of arms, as a house of virtue, and likens Puzynina to the Polish Juno and Pallas, daughter of Polish Jupiter, the Polish Minerva, the prophets Sibyl, Althea, and the Polish Themis. The fourth part is thanksgiving to the benefactress of her donations to the church. Puzynina was interested in mathematics and astronomy. Astronomical observations were conducted at the Puzynina Palace in Lučaj for the purpose of determining geographic position. Her interest in the exact sciences resulted from close contact with Jesuits. It's also known as 2 members of the Puzynina family served as professors at the Vilnius Academy. Which may have influenced Puzynina's decisions. She endowed the altar of St. Katerina in the academic church of St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist in Vilnius. This is this church. At the initiative of the mathematics professor Tomasz Żebrowski, she donated a sum of money for the establishment of an astronomical observatory at the Vilnius Academy. The astronomer and architect Żebrowski was the designer of the observatory building. 2 halls were constructed, a small and a large one, along with 2 towers and 3 auxiliary rooms. Żebrowski became the first director of the observatory and held this position until his death in 1758. She was succeeded by Father Marcin Poczobut, under whose initiative and extension was built according to the design of Marcin Knakwos. Puzynina established a perpetual endowment of 3,000 zloty for the maintenance of the observatory and its astronomers, and additionally donated 3,000 zloty in cash. This sum was used for the purchase of astronomical instruments in England, a task carried out of Puzynina's death by Marcin Poczobut-Odlanicki, who traveled to England for this purpose. Countess Elżbieta Puzynina, née Ogińska, died in November 1767 in Lucca, and on 28 November, Gazety Wileńskie, the press, published by professors of the Vilnius Academy, reported her death. The newspaper's editors included her among the distinguished ladies who contributed to the Republic of Literaria, such as Greek poets, French and Italian noblewomen, and the Queen of Sweden. The editor wrote that Puzynina was the foremost lady not only among Polish women but also among foreign ladies devoted to learning, and that her founding of the observatory was an unprecedented achievement. As a token of gratitude for the gift of the University Observatory, Jesuits organized an exceptionally solemn funeral for their benefactress from 30 till 60 January. On 30 January, the seized body was brought into Jesuit Church of St. Casimir. Moment. Sorry, I have this church. Maybe I'll try to show later. Which, thanks to her generosity, has been rebuilt after a fire. She had specifically funded the construction of the church's dam. In the church, a magnificent catafalque was arranged, richly decorated with symbols and inscriptions referring to the Puzynina family coat of arms Brahma. And from 5 a.m. till noon, requiem masses were held with the participation of numerous clergy and citizens. This sermon was delivered by Jesuits Father Tadeusz Bukaty. After the sermon and in the presence of many magnates and townspeople, the coffin was carried to the academic church of St. John the Baptist and John Evangelist. The funeral procession included religious orders, academics, musical assemblies, and local residents. In the Church of St. John, a pyramid of light was arranged on which various personate figures represented the virtues of the deceased. The sermon in at this location was delivered by Father Rogowski, and maybe I will I leave some fragment, and the funeral rite is concluded with a sung mass celebrated by Zienkiewicz, after which the funeral sermon was delivered by Parzowski, a doctor of philosophy, Societatis Jesu. The preacher referred to the words from the second book of the Maccabees, chapter 7, Supramondum mater mirabilis bonorum memori digna. To console the writer's grief over the loss of the benefactress, the preachers quoted the words of Saint Augustine about his mother. Neque enim decere arbitra bamur funus illut questibus lacrimolis gemitibusque celebrate quia illa nec male nec omnio moriebatur. In his sermon he stated that the castellan's wife had neither died badly nor entirely, nec male nec omnio morto est. She had not died badly because for just as she had lived piously, so she died piously. Nor had she entirely died, for what she accomplished through her generosity would endure endure even after her death with the immortal glory of this lady. Nec omnio morto est. After sermon, the guests presented in the church were given funeral poems issued in the name of the Academy. It is unknown whether the poem was written by Marcin Poczobut, which was later published and has survived to this day, or by students and professors of the Vilnius Academy. The Jesuits laid Puzynina's body in the Jesuit tomb in the Church of St. John's. The funeral work Żal przy pogrzebie śmiertelnych zwłoków, probably authored by Poczobut, was published in print. The poem stand out among the funeral works produced in Vilnius milieu during the Stanislav August period, which were written on the occasion of funerals. In the poetry of this period, created in Vilnius, panegyrics with Baroque features predominated, often referring to the coat of arms of the family. This work typically praised the family, emphasizing the value of ancestors and the fame of the lineage from which the subject of the poem descended. In Poczobut's poem, however, these themes were omitted. The author emphasized two qualities, piety and wisdom. Evidence of her piety is seen in the temples she founded, while evidence of her wisdom is the Vilnius watchtower. Presumably, the author refers to the astronomical observatory founded by Puzynina as the Vilnius watchtower. According to the dictionary, a watchtower can denote a fortress or an observation post, which may allude to the celestial observation conducted at the observatory. To describe the fame of the deceased, the author employed celestial bodies such as Titan, the largest moon of Saturn, scattering golden rays, and the moon orbiting the Earth. The Vilnius watchtower is meant to recognize Puzynina as planet obscured by clouds, affected by eclipses, shining across all of Lithuania both day and night. The founder's fame is likened to the aurora guiding sailors at sea. This imagery serves as foreshadowing of the enduring memory of the benefactress and her monumental contributions in establishing the observatory. In the second part of the work, the grief of the academic youth is expressed, who note that foreign universities might envy the support received by students in Vilnius. The deceased achievements are enumerated here. The buildings she commissioned and, thanks to the Castellan's wife, endowed, the instruments brought to Vilnius from abroad serving Urania, the muse of astronomy and geometry. An allusion can be seen here to the inspiration placed on the observatory building. In the authored by Poczobut himself, Hec domus Urania est cura procul est profane temnintur hinc humilis celus, hinc itur ad astra. This house is that of Urania, be gone, profane warriors, here the humble earth is scorned from, here one rises to the stars. You can see only a part of this inscription. Oh, you can see all. Urania was typically depicted as a woman holding a compass, and globe, celestial sphere. In the poem, the personification of Urania, which with cypress bound temples, appears as symbol of mourning. In the fourth part, titled Urania's gratitude to her benefactress, the author, observing Jupiter at night from the star-watching tower, sees as radiant light. Surprised by its source, he perceives the heroine surrounded by stars and the muses of Mount Parnassus arranged in the circle, lifted by zephyrs. The poet, astonished, hears the phrases of the grateful Urania, who calls Puzynina the foremost among noble ladies. Urania emphasized that thanks to Puzynina, the Vilnius Academy Astronomical Observatory is among the finest equipped with skilled astronomers and instruments. Thanks to Puzynina, the Muse of Astronomy is glorified, and she desires that Puzynina's stars appears in the heavens. In a footnote, Poczobut adds that in 1600 a star was observed in the Cassiopeia constellation by Tycho Brahe, its brightness comparable to Venus, but it later disappeared and not appears since. In the poem, Poczobut included footnotes in which he mentioned that Delalande, an astronomer of the Royal Academy in Paris, in the second volume of Astronomy published in 18th century, Nothing, the Vilnius Sextant, states that he knows of only 3 similar instruments in Europe. In the preface, he ranks the Vilnius Observatory among the more significant ones in Europe. In the following section, the author describes the grief of Puzynina, subject in Luce. This scene takes place in Luce, in the Ośmiana district of Puzynina's estates. Part 6 contains verses intended to console the family of the deceased. Puzynina gazed upon the eternal sun, and the fame of her piety reached to heaven. Coldness Puzynina remained in the memory of Vilnius Jesuits long after her death. Each year, solemn requiems were held on the anniversary of her passing. The press provided detailed descriptions of the services, and it is possible that some of the extensive and meticulous reports were written by Poczobut himself once he became editor of the Gazety Wileńskie. The patroness was honored by Academy through the display of her portrait. According to Szklarska, 2 portraits once hung in the observatory, which now preserved in the Lithuanian Art Gallery. A copy of them depicting the benefactress with the design of the observatory she endowed currently hangs in the White Hall of the observatory. The Lithuanian art historian Lina Balaišytė argues that the portrait by Ernest Egenfelder was most likely painted posthumously. In the second portrait, also by Egenfelder, Puzynina is shown as her mature years. In the first portrait, Puzynina is depicted with attributes of public activity, something more typical associated with men of the period. According to Balaišytė, Puzynina was the only noble woman in the Great Duchy of Lithuania to be portrayed with the design of a secular building. The second and most significant commemoration of the benefactress is the portal in the White Hall of Astronomical Observatory. The portal, created by Italian architect Carlo Spampani, was also completed posthumously between when Poczobut served as a director of the observatory. Spampani immortalized both Kings Stanisław August and the benefactress. On the pediment appears a plaster medallion with the king's portrait along with 4 zodiacs, Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. Above the pediment are figures of Diana, the goddess of the hunt and patronates of patroness of hunters, holding a bas-relief of Puzynina, as well as Urania, the muse of astronomy, with a wreath of stars in her hand and monogram of Elżbieta Puzynina nie Ogińska. The idea of depicting Urania in this setting may be originated with Poczobut, who has inscribed in the observatory building the words, "Here is the house of Urania." None of the representatives of the well-known magnates or nobles families contributed as significantly to the development of the exact science, namely astronomy, as did Puzynina. The memory of her great merits for the Vilnius Academy has survived to this day in a few literary monuments, as well in the beautiful observatory hall. In the second half of the 18th century, thanks to the work of and discoveries of Marcin Poczobut-Odlenicki, the observatory became renowned through Europe, and Poczobut was elected a corresponding member of the French Royal Academy and member of the Royal Society of London. Thank you so much.